Now, during the break, we had a bit of breaking news regarding what we were just talking about, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, what did I just say before the break? It's that we're probably going to find out before the press conference that he has where he'll probably sign. It'll probably break on Twitter or something where he's actually going to sign, and then we'll see it tomorrow. Well, apparently that's broken thanks to our colleague Carl Schoening for texting me and getting me up to date. I would have had no idea. Apparently Peyton Manning has decided to play for the Denver Broncos next season. He has instructed his agent to begin working up the contract, which he actually talked about in the first meeting. In their first meeting, it's reporting on March 9th. He and the Broncos president of football operations, John Elway, of course, one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, were discussing the parameters of a 5-year, $95 million contract. That was then. Obviously it's not the definite numbers, but it looks like next year Peyton Manning is going to be a Denver Bronco, and once that contract goes final, they're probably going to try to trade Tim Tebow. So, hey, there's the breaking news that we wanted.
Yeah, Peyton Manning to Denver. This is very interesting. I got the feeling that John Elway, who's I think he's a GM or at least a vice president, I got the feeling that he wasn't really happy with Tim Tebow, with the way he was playing. I mean, I think he was just happy with Tebow because he was winning. I got that sense from all the quotes that he gave during the course of the season and after their playoff win against Pittsburgh. He was basically just saying, it's great. I support Tebow, but it was more about what he didn't say than what he actually said. It was really just because Tebow was winning them games, and Tebow was more of like a stopgap situation solution for them. John Elway wanted to get a quarterback that he believed would actually be good for them semi-long term, and Peyton Manning appears to be that guy.
Yeah, I think Tebow could have eventually filled that role. I don't think he was anywhere near ready to do that. I don't really know what happened last year, but I mean, you watch the games and you see a guy that isn't ready to lead a team to a Super Bowl. He led him to the playoffs. He won a playoff game, but it was more in spite of what he was doing rather than because of his play that was doing it. He made plays, but not consistently enough to do that. And Denver will now apparently look to trade him, but it's coming out. Weston just told me that our colleague Weston Warner called in and said that Tebow's camp has apparently said that if they do sign Manning, that they will demand a trade. That he is that he's going to demand to be traded. So I don't understand that. I mean, if you're Tim Tebow, you know that you have a lot of work to do to get to the point where you want to be a consistent starting quarterback in the NFL. And who better to learn from than Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
If he's coming in, you're on the team. You've got Peyton Manning coming in. Take a little while, learn what you can from the guy, and get out. I don't know if he's started to get an ego with what he's done with Denver last year, where he won all the games and took him to the playoffs, and now said, "Hey, I'm a starting quarterback now. Who are you to bench me or bring in another guy when I was able to do this for you?" Yeah, I mean, they won the division with him, but I don't know if this is an ego trip by Tebow or if I don't know. I mean, what do you think regards to that?
I hope it's not the people around him trying to take advantage of the fervor that developed over Tebow. I think it might be that. It might be either Tebow or his circle of friends that want to make sure that he's always a starting quarterback, that he's always in the limelight, because he's not going to get much publicity on the bench, even though given ESPN, they would probably still give him that publicity.
Oh, yeah, he'd still get the publicity. I mean, Peyton Manning and Tim Tebow, they'd set up. Remember when the Miami Heat had the big three last offseason? Sports Center had their desks set up in Miami for all their practices. They had a Sports Center special segment in Miami, from Miami every day. It'd be just like that in Denver. They'd have a thing set up there where they're covering Peyton Manning and Tim Tebow. They're talking on the sidelines what can possibly be happening, and I mean it would be crazy. So I mean it's probably a good thing. I'm happy, I guess, because I don't have to deal with it. But I don't know. I just think that would have been the best case scenario for Tim Tebow's career, I think, is to be able to take a step back. He was able to experience the thrill of winning the games, getting to the playoffs last year, but he's not ready. I hope that he knows that, because he's not. To be able to take at least a year. I don't know what his contract is like. I know he's still on his rookie contract that he signed when he got drafted a couple years ago, but I can't imagine he's got more than a year or two left. You take a year, maybe two, learn from one of the best I think the best quarterback in the history of the NFL, how to play that position, and you become a much greater quarterback. I mean, you saw what it did for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, sitting, learning from Brett Favre, whether Brett Favre wanted to teach him or not, knowing that he was eventually going to take his job. How much better of a quarterback that made Aaron Rodgers. We can't know for sure, but it can't hurt. And to think what could have been with there, it makes you kind of think, what if? But now if they do go ahead and go through and sign Peyton Manning, if it goes through and Tim Tebow is now going to be traded, what happens now? I mean, where does he go? Who comes in? Who wants him? What are they willing to give up?
How are they going to build around him? Are they going to try to go to the option? Are they going to try to get receivers for him?
Now we're going to find out what other teams how they really value him, because we just saw the Washington Redskins give up 3 first-round picks
and a second-rounder.
I think it was 2 second-rounders, wasn't it? I think it was 5 total picks.
It was
4?
1 second-rounder.
1 second. Okay, so 3 first-round picks and 1 second-round pick for what will probably be the rights to draft Baylor quarterback Robert Griffin with that number 2 pick next year. So he gets that. What is Denver going to get for Tim Tebow? Not close to that. Donovan McNabb a couple years ago got traded for like a 5th-round pick, and that was deemed a steal for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't know. I mean, I know Jacksonville really wanted Tebow out of college. They drafted Blaine Gabbert, but would they be willing to throw in their hat, try to make a trade? If Miami can't get Alex Smith, do they try to bring Tim Tebow back to Florida in his home state? I don't know. There's so many different things that can happen.
It's going to be very interesting and annoying to follow.
It will be excruciating to follow, I think. We've already dealt with the Peyton Manning stuff. Every day we've got new updates. Tim Tebow, oh my gosh. Tim Tebow's on the trade block. I don't even want to turn on I really actually don't want to turn on ESPN when I get back to my apartment today, because it's going to be Peyton Manning / Tim Tebow for probably like an hour straight. But I think that'll probably conclude the NFL segment for today. We'll probably get more for you on Wednesday, that edition of Bobcat Radio. But for now, looks like Peyton Manning's going to Denver. They'll try to trade Tim Tebow. I don't know. It's kind of a circus.